he will be unable to obtain that detail during pre-trial discovery. Moreover, the defendant's assertion that he cannot reasonably prepare a response to the plaintiff's allegations plainly contradicts the content.
Fucking she don't even look like the same bird.
Denies Ms. Giuffre's allegations in no
I think she ate the other
uncertain terms. Well, that is what the judge has had to say in explaining why he has denied a motion to dismiss this civil case. Let's bring in Mark Stevens, international lawyer at Howard Kennedy. Mark Stevens, good to see you this afternoon. Your reaction to this breaking news this afternoon?
I think this was not particularly surprising, Sarah Jane, as a consequence of the way in which this case was argued.
I don't know if this is working, by the way.
That Prince Andrew was not going to be successful today.
You can't see the picture, can you?
I think this judge will set the sort of aggressive timetable
I don't even know if you can see
he's
me.
Indicated previously, but I think he knows he's also
Streamlabs
probably going to be the subject
should be
of
connecting to
Prince
Restream,
Andrew's
but
legal team. And so
can't be sure at the minute.
Likely list it for towards the end of November, the beginning of December, which will give a window of opportunity for Prince Andrew's team not only to prepare for the trial, but also to conduct any appeal that they think is going to be viable.
So, Mark, from this point on, we can expect an appeal from Prince Andrew's team and perhaps a settlement as well, as so often happens before these civil cases are taken further.
Hang on, why is that moving?
Yes, I think that's right. I think the situation here is that there is a good legal point. The position is that the Prince Andrew's legal team have been stonewalling. It's clearly that which has irritated this judge, who thinks that they should get to the merits quickly. But one of the points that they've come across, this one about settlement, does have some merit in it. It's not a slam dunk for either side.
Them as well.
And you can see the legal merit shorn of the morality of this particular case, some would say immorality of this case, that he can appeal and he's got good grounds to do so. But I suspect that this is a case which is going to go to trial, and the stonewalling tactics of Prince Andrew's lawyers have been to attempt to delay it. He's not in a great position now. He's not. Can he get in a better position? No, he can't. Can he make it worse? Yes, he can make it an awful lot worse by going to America.
See the way they're all talking it up like it's just a complete dead end. There's no way back. That's just edging the public into.
Everybody will take that as an admission of guilt, but it's less damaging.
Watch the turnaround.
And to go through the trial, the public spectacle of the details of what happened.
Honestly,
and of course,
watch the
many
fucking
people will think
turnaround.
much the worse of him if he puts Virginia Giuffre through the mill of having to go to court, as we saw with the
later on,
Ghislaine Maxwell,
when it's all over,
had to go through and relive their experiences in public. Fairly traumatic, I think.
Ms. Giuffre is suing the Queen's son for allegedly sexually assaulting her when she was a teenager. The Duke has vehemently denied these allegations, and his legal team has argued from the lawsuit's first hearing that the case is baseless. However, we now have the prospect of this civil case towards the end of the year. We understand that Virginia Giuffre is seeking unspecified
Nothing
damages.
gets out unless they want it to.
Could be in the millions of dollars, Mark.
Yes, and I think that the answer to that is absolutely. She had the opportunity of suing in London. She wouldn't have got anything like the damages in America. In America, I think you can expect to see many millions of dollars in damages. And so I think that if he's going to be shelling out for lawyers and shelling out for damages, he may be better off cutting his losses and just shelling out to Virginia Giuffre, settling this, draw a line. He's not going to be rehabilitated, but he protects the rest of the royal family from what would otherwise be an appallingly damaging experience of him fighting these kinds of allegations in court.
They're really talking it up, aren't they?
Mark Stevens, if the hearing does go ahead, it's not clear whether
Nothing
gets out via a video
unless they want it out.
Decline to participate.
Sky News.
There's a quirk of law between England and America. So if Virginia Giuffre obtains what's called a default judgment, that is, Prince Andrew doesn't turn up to defend himself, she will be able to get a vindication from the court in New York, but the damage award that the jury gives her will not be enforceable in this country. Prince Andrew, and indeed any defendant in this country.
But if it gets awarded to her, it's not like he can get out of pain, is it? You know what I mean?
Here.
It's like
So they can only
fucking
go
Andrew.
against assets in America, and of course
Prince Andrew
won't have any there. So that would be a sort of Pyrrhic victory, but I think the moral
this is all such bollocks.
opprobrium that would come on Prince Andrew taking advantage of a technicality of that kind would just be too great to withstand. So this case has always been about damage limitation. The stakes just went up, and there's going to have to be some serious damage limitation now. I can't see a situation where the royal family
bungle, stop fucking bungling this off, man, with your shit. Nothing gets out unless they want it out.
For deposition, so they take video of the witness giving evidence under oath, under cross-examination, and then they replay that at the trial and cross-examine them on that. In this country, we reduce it all into writing, so you have witness statements, again under oath, and you cross-examination on them.
All right, Mark Stevens, good to have you.
It's going to be too tactical.
Mark Stevens, good to have your expertise guiding us through what's happening this afternoon. Mark
Get
Stevens,
off, Mark. Get off.
Thank you.
You said too much.
3 o'clock. Our breaking news this
3 o'clock. We want to go, Mark. We want lunch.
Trial after a US judge
You're holding us up.
dismissed a motion by Prince Andrew's legal team to have the lawsuit thrown out. The case has been brought by Virginia giuffre, who claims that she was abused by Prince Andrew when she was 17. Prince Andrew's lawyer claimed a previous settlement agreed between Miss giuffre and the sex offender Jeffrey Epstein meant she could not claim further damages. The Duke of York denies all the allegations.
Of course he does. Does he deny the Red Rooms?
A business event in Davos in January 2015 was the first time Prince Andrew publicly responded to the allegations.
Behind a secret wall, man, with minors in a nightclub, with Ghislaine, 2 minors, 3 adults.
My focus.
Something's wrong with this.
In the 7 years
5
since
adults
then,
in a
claims
room
from
with
Virginia
some kids.
and this photograph have continued to haunt him. His attempt to shut
lies.
it down with this interview 2 years ago
I don't even
backfired,
recall ever taking a photograph.
I have no recollection of ever meeting her.
and instead forced him to step down from royal duties. His state of self-imposed exile, mainly at Royal Lodge on the Windsor estate, led some charities to cut ties with him. But he still has links with a large number of organisations, even though he can't represent them in public. And more controversially, he has retained his ceremonial military titles, including Honorary Colonel of the Grenadier
in the army now.
The decision by the judge to allow this civil case to continue severely hampers any hope of rebuilding his reputation anytime soon.
He's still the Colonel-in-Chief of a number of regiments.
All these people jumping out, I'm going to write a book, make fucking millions.
Which are in the personal gift of
Every cunt's opinion.
And he hasn't been stripped of those.
Who's
But
this
it's
bloke?
very difficult to
Nigel
see
Colthorne
him
or something.
coming out in public
Writes books.
I mean,
Let's hear what he's got to say on it.
Reportedly the Queen's favourite son, there was a time where his military service in the
How can
Falklands
she say,
was celebrated
you are my
in the
favourite
papers.
son? I
But
wonder
in
how the
recent
other
years,
one.
headlines
The
have been
other's film.
dominated by his relationship
Murray
with
doesn't
paedophile
like us.
Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Difficult not just for him, but the rest of the royal family.
There's absolutely no doubt that whatever happens,
Could have saved yourself a lot of trouble. Should have got with Maxwell years ago. You could have ragged her to your heart's content, and you should have just left it at that. But nah.
Prince Andrew and the issues associated with that, and not taking responsibility really, and being seen to
Should
apparently
he?
kind of
Because they'd have been going out to more Red Rooms and that, wouldn't
process
they?
is something that is going to really
maybe not, actually.
hang heavy, I think, over the royal
You should
family
never
over
have
the
been
next few
born.
years.
It would have been much easier.
Prince Andrew's absence has been particularly notable as his siblings have stepped up to be there for the Queen. Privately, they may be supportive of him, but publicly they have tried to distance themselves from the scandal. They will no doubt want to keep that silence as this deeply damaging saga continues. Rhiannon Mills, Sky News.
Fucking crap.
Well, let's get more from our correspondent Joe Pike, who was covering the
Joe
story
Pike!
from New
It's
York
over to
and
Joe
joins
Pike.
us now. Joe, the judge making this ruling within
Fishing
the last half
with
an
Pike.
hour. What was his explanation?
Fishing for
finding
news
in
with
favour of
Pike
Virginia
on
giuffre?
Sky. Fishing in the sky for news
Well,
with
the key
Pike.
argument, Sarah Jane, that Prince Andrew's lawyers made at the start of last week in
It's
that
over to our
court
Sky,
hearing
Sky
was
correspondent
that
Joe
there was
Pike.
this 2009 settlement between
Joe
Virginia
Pike
Giuffre
on a
and the
bike.
paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. She received $500,000 within that settlement. And in the text
Look,
of the
she's already been
settlement,
paid.
she agreed
You can never
to
come
not,
back again.
pursue other people
You
in
haven't got
civil
any proof
proceedings
that you
connected
had
to
sex
Mr.
with him
Epstein.
apart
So the
from a
debate within
photograph
court
and
that day
hearsay.
was all
Where
about
we
whether Prince
going?
Andrew is covered.
Where's
The
it all
judge, in this very
going?
long ruling, 40 or so pages, has said that 2009 agreement cannot be said to demonstrate clearly and unambiguously that the parties intended the instrument directly, primarily or substantially to benefit Prince Andrew. And this is not a huge surprise because in that hearing, the Judge Lewis Kaplan was interrogating the lawyers for either side, and he seemed
All this
dismissive
lawyer stuff, it's
and
all bollocks,
sceptical
isn't it?
of the legal
Just come out and
arguments
say
being
what you
made
fucking
by
mean.
Prince Andrew's lawyer.
I'm going to
It
say it
wouldn't
through
have
my
been,
lawyer.
good,
That in
it wouldn't
itself
have been a good look, I
is
don't think, if Prince
suspect,
Andrew had won
is
this
controlled.
motion to dismiss, because ultimately he would be
Come out and say it.
relying on that very controversial settlement. He would effectively be saying to Virginia Giuffre, you can't sue me because you settled with my paedophile friend. Now, his allies would argue on the
that's
other
never
hand
gonna-
that this is
yeah,
about
that ain't
money.
never
She has
going
already
away.
received money, and it's not fair that she should pursue others too.
So
Her
you see the
allegation
breakdown starting
is
to
that
happen?
Prince Andrew sexually assaulted her 3 times when she
media.
was 17 years old in 3 locations. Firstly, in Ghislaine Maxwell's home in London. This is where this picture is taken. Reportedly, the photographer at this point was Jeffrey Epstein himself, the late paedophile. The second location was New York, where Jeffrey Epstein had a large home on the Upper East Side. And the third place that Virginia Giuffre alleges she was abused by Prince Andrew is on one of Jeffrey Epstein's islands in the US Virgin Islands. Now, Prince Andrew has consistently and strenuously denied all of those allegations, but what we're moving to now is the sort of second stage of this process of discovery, where we could find out more about the evidence that either side is holding. It's almost like they've held their cards quite close to their chest so far. Now they need to explain what they have. That could see Prince Andrew and Virginia Giuffre being deposed, them being questioned out of court, but under sworn oath, and that evidence then being submitted to the court. But of course, it's a massive moment of danger and jeopardy for the Duke of York. Effectively, his reputation, whether it's fair or not, has already been damaged. We're now talking about how far
Not yet. We've got
these
spin
allegations
doctors.
affect the reputation of the royal family, and I think that will be in the minds of the courtiers and key people involved in deciding.
However you look
whether
at
or
it,
not to
it's
settle.
over,
That is a
isn't
big
it,
decision
really?
for Prince Andrew now. Does he settle with
Queen,
Virginia
what, she
Giuffre?
come
Do
96,
they come,
is she come up to
to
95?
a legal agreement, one that would involve likely millions of dollars.
And
what
Charles,
does Virginia Giuffre want to do? Does
well,
she
he's got a
want
load
to
of
settle? Does she
Savile
want the money, or
questioning
ultimately
coming,
does she want
surely,
to
isn't he?
pursue justice
He has,
and
man,
the
he's got it
truth?
coming
She could
on the
make this
Savile
very
front.
awkward for the Duke of York and for the royal family by continuing dragging this out, trying to force a trial, even though trials in civil cases are incredibly
and I
rare.
can avoid the
Certainly, whenever you
situation.
think about the Duke of York, whatever you think about these allegations that he's consistently denied, we do know that 2 of his close friends were a paedophile in Jeffrey Epstein and a child sex trafficker in Ghislaine Maxwell. That has damaged his reputation, possibly irreparably. It's
Nothing
now Sarah
gets
Jane,
out
up
unless
him
they
and
want it
others
to.
within the
If
palaces
they
to
really
decide
were all
how
about
much all of this
damaging
affects the
Andrew
reputation
now,
of
and
the
it
royal
was all
family.
about...
Joe Pike, thank
They're
you. The
looking
Duke
like
of
they're
York denies
damaging
all
him,
allegations.
but it's all being
And
done in a
Buckingham Palace
controlled
today
way.
declining to comment to this breaking news, this latest development.
This
saying we
breaking
would not
news
comment
from me,
on what is
it's
an
Sarah Jane
ongoing
Me
legal
Show.
matter. Let's speak now to Spencer Cooven, a lawyer representing
Whoever
many
he is.
of Jeffrey Epstein's victims.
Oh,
Mr.
right.
Cooven, your reaction to the breaking news this afternoon?
Yes, I'm the lawyer for Jeffrey Epstein's controlled victims.
As everyone has mentioned, once a litigant gets past the point of a motion to dismiss, that opens the door to discovery. In any civil litigation,
Discover
discovery
me
includes written
on
discovery,
the Sarah
requests for
Jane Me
documents,
Show.
but it also includes, most importantly and significantly for the Duke, a deposition. And there is no doubt that the attorneys for Virginia Giuffre are going to seek to take the deposition of the Duke of York. In addition to that, they could seek depositions of any other individuals who may have been present. That could include anyone within the royal family that may have been present during any of the conversations or anything that may have been said after the incident, or that
Royal
could
Protection
verify any
Officers?
of his background and
Paul
alibi
Page.
that he has stated very publicly in the interview that he gave.
And Mr. Giuffre, perhaps you could explain how a deposition works, because it's not something we're familiar here with in the UK. It's very much something that happens in the US legal system. And what is a deposition? Can Prince Andrew refuse to participate?
As a defendant in a case, a person cannot refuse to come forward for a sworn deposition. A deposition is sworn testimony. It's taken under oath under penalty of perjury of the U.S. law. And
Perjury,
as
what
many
Andy
people
Coulson
may
and
know or may
Rebecca
not know,
Brooks committed.
a few of the charges that were lodged against Ghislaine Maxwell, which she is now being charged criminally with and could be prosecuted on, were that she lied under oath in a civil deposition that was taken in another matter. So a civil deposition taken under oath under penalty of perjury
So you can lie,
is very
but
serious.
not under oath.
And as a
Must tell the
result,
truth.
anything that is said under oath must be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if someone lies under oath, that is a criminal prosecution in and of itself that could take place. These types of sworn testimony are taken every day. I do hundreds of them a year in civil cases, and I took numerous depositions of these witnesses in the Jeffrey Epstein matters when
And
I
for that you
represented those young
received
girls
millions
here
of
in the
pounds.
state of Florida. Those depositions,
Didn't do
a
it
person
for the
appears,
laughs, did you,
there
mate?
could be a video camera. There is always a court reporter
Morris
taking
the
down
high
everything
ground.
that is said.
I've dealt with this,
And
I've
the
dealt
Duke
with
would be
that.
entitled to have his
You
own
got
attorney
millions
present
for it.
that sworn testimony, and then the attorneys for Virginia Giuffre could ask any question they wanted. Now, as a civil litigant in the U.S.,
Go there.
you have a
It's really good.
constitutional right against
I think the camera's coming out
self-incrimination.
backwards.
So,
Unlucky.
because this is a U.S. lawsuit, the
8
Duke
Garnet
may,
Way, Billet Road,
refuse to answer
E17,
questions under
5
oath
PE.
on the grounds that it may incriminate him, which is exactly what
02
the
03
way Jeffrey
581
Epstein did when I took his deposition
1677.
in the
Monday to
litigation here in the
Saturday,
States.
11 AM
Who
to
else
6
should be
PM.
deposed? Because there is
Barney's
a lot
pie and
being
mash.
made because of the high profile of this
Walthamstow.
case about, for instance,
Have a
members
go.
of the
You'd
royal
be
family
surprised.
being
Fucking
deposed,
blinding.
or high profile friends of
Shame
Prince
it ain't
Andrew
open now,
being
'cause-
deposed. Do they have to give a deposition, or can they refuse to take part? Because for Prince Andrew,
Oh,
this could get
fuck off.
extremely messy.
Bungle. What else is going on? Thousands join NHS staff to protest mandatory jabs. Fuck you.
More change.
Fucking mandatory jabs. Fuck off. Just come and squeeze some shit in ya, lie to you about everything, spin fuck off.
We want to be midwives, but we can't.
This
Yeah, you
isn't
can't.
an ordinary vaccine
'Cause it is
protest.
shit.
Many of the thousands here are NHS
Fucking
workers.
rubbish. I ain't had it. Ain't that, not a fucking
Many
thing.
soon lose their jobs.
Not a fucking
Like
thing,
Carl,
mate.
who's been a nurse for more than a decade.
Yeah, I will, if it continues, will be out of a job on the 1st of April, yes.
Would you describe yourself as an anti-vaxxer?
No, I wouldn't. No, I've had every other vaccine up until this point.
Lots of my colleagues are in the same boat, and they're potentially losing livelihoods and jobs and food on the table.
It's like you're not being given a choice. You're taking away the choice. Just got to go along with it, and that's how they make everyone. You're cunts, mate. Sorry. While Boris is having cheese and wine, like what? Fucking what? We shouldn't even be discussing this. This shouldn't even be an issue.
And beyond protest, politicians are uneasy too.
Fuck off, they can fuck off and all the nonsense.
Christmas. I think that number would be rising as we come to the crunch and we see.
Yeah, like your penis rises when you look at children, you cunt.
Do we really want to see these big
Fuck off.
crises that could be caused in certain parts of the country because all of a sudden a whole lot of people are not on the front line simply because they haven't had this
I don't like this
vaccination.
dodgy
Last week,
Skype
the
where
Prime
it blows
Minister
up the
said the
background. All
government
the
will
geezers'
reflect
head
the way ahead.
shapes changing and that. It's like, can't take this fucking seriously. You murderer!
Reports of a pause to the policy have today been dismissed as the Royal College of GPs call for a delay in a debate not just about ethics but logistics.
You got a screen
with
up.
warnings as many as
Do you not think
70,000
it
NHS
goes
staff could lose
up?
their jobs.
Do you know?
So mandatory vaccination is a government policy, but as healthcare professionals, we all have a duty to make sure that we are protected,
Fuck
to make
off!
sure that our
Smash!
colleagues and our patients are protected. So I know that our teams will be doing everything they can.
Yeah, I bet
to
you
continue
fucking
to have
will.
Vaccine confidence building conversations and offering that all important
Talking
vaccination
shit,
to
scaring the
staff who are yet to
public
have
into
their first,
bungle.
second, or their booster dose.
Fuck that, man.
It's
Fuck
a
do you
policy
think you are?
that's
Come
stirred
along,
debate
yeah, we're going to stick
and
this in
emotion
you or...
too.
Oh, fuck off.
A Prime Minister keen to cling on to his own job.
Yeah,
will
you
have to
can
think
fuck off
carefully
and all.
about so many health workers losing theirs. Ali Fortescue, Sky News.
Piss off. Fucking shit. UK will stand shoulder to shoulder with Kyiv, but extremely don't want to know. UK accuses Russia of plotting to install pro-Kremlin leader to... What? What? Fuck me. It's got nothing to do with us. No, the UK doesn't. The nonces in the building accused you. It's got fuck all to do with us, mate. Russia moves troops to Belarus for joint war games amid Ukraine. It's got nothing to do with us. Unvaccinated NHS doctor explains challenging Sajid Javid. Can't stand that cunt. Can't stand him. Stupid head. Mr. fucking stupid head. Fuck off. With your depressing face, with your depressing news. Just fuck off. Oh, these people are wankers, mate. Biden's biggest gaffes and failures after 1 year in office. Look at him. He was touching children. Fucking hell, you only just found out. Oh, look, man, just get rid of your shit. It's depressing, isn't it? Look, nothing good on here. COVID variant today. Protests in the UK. Freedom protest opposing restriction. It's just all like fucking noose. It's like just noose round all your necks. Round all your fucking necks. All these fucking stupid fucking wibbly wobblies in Downing Street. And you're fucking listening to them. You're fucking listening to them. Nonsense. Now they're squeezing fucking shit in you. Yeah, taking your freedoms away. While they're just going around banging all your fucking kids. Prime Minister lays low at Chequers ahead of Sue Gray report. Chequers? That's where fucking Savile used to go. With fucking Thatcher. Oh, fuck off. Your stupid hair and your stupid neck. Your stupid fat neck. Fuck off. Boris. James Webb Space Telescope. Mate, how about just putting a fucking camera in space so we can just have a look about for ourselves, you know what I mean? You can't, you fucking liars, that's why. You might have reversible rockets and shit, but you can't get off of there, so fucking talking shit. Postponing my shows, who fucking cares? Fuck, man. Meatloaf. Respect though if he told Andrew, innit? I don't care who you are, man. Prince Andrew to face trial. Sir Kenneth Branagh on his new movie. Prince Andrew to face civil sex assault case after US ruling. Fuck off. Oh, and it's shit, eh? Look, fucking load of shit. I feel like a brainwashed fucking zombie. What else have you got for me? This is shit. Oh look, it's me. Ah. Now that's worth watching. Look, your current live streams. I'm only fucking live. 168 people. Hello, how are you? Yeah, man. Nah. It's not bored. It's fucking bored. Dolly and Molly sitting in a tree. Big up Dolly Vision. He bombed my channel the other day, but I fucking missed it. I think I was in the toilet. So. People who kept Jeffrey Epstein's paedophilia secret. Vanity Fair. Let's have a look at you. Rancid. Having a rank, unpleasant, stale smell or taste.
She wanted me to believe that she was Jeffrey's girlfriend, but I knew that she wasn't. But she wanted that to be the storyline.
How did you know she wasn't his girlfriend?
Because she's not 12.
Oh shit. Killed it.
Christina, at the time,
God,
were there
I
any
hope
red
she's a bit
flags for you?
blatant.
At that point, were you thinking children are at risk here?
Unfortunately, I did not have even the wherewithal to think of such tremendous evil.
No,
frankly.
you was thinking of the money, so you keep your mouth shut.
The sort of rancid personality. I had no idea we were dealing with true evil.
Why did you keep going back if you didn't want to go back?
So scared. I didn't know what to do. I was afraid that he was going to harm my family.
The same old story over and over again. People who were close to Jeffrey Epstein. I had no idea. Really? Because you just said you knew that Ghislaine wasn't his girlfriend because she wasn't 12 years old. Kind of seems like you knew he liked girls. There's a big difference between saying she wasn't 16 and she wasn't 12. A 16-year-old girl can look like a 20-year-old girl. A 12-year-old girl cannot look like a 20-year-old woman. You understand? Christina Oxenberg clearly knew Jeffrey Epstein had a thing for kids, did nothing about it. By the way, she's cousin to the British royal family from the Serbian royal family. There are some key characters within Epstein's story that have not really been exposed and not really been called out. They've been interviewed by journalists, and it's like the journalists aren't asking them the questions that they should be asking them, and no one has really paid attention to people who kept Epstein's secrets secret. People are treating them as though they were silenced victims or somehow not an enabler, which in my mind, if you find out that someone's a rapist, a pedophile, especially a pedophile, and you tell no one and do nothing about it for fear of losing your job or the connections you have created or the reputation you have created, then you're kind of an enabler. And we now know that tons of Hollywood celebrities have done this very thing. Look at Harvey Weinstein, who happened to be buddies with Epstein. Look at how many people kept their mouths shut for fear of not being able to get a role in a movie. In my opinion, there is no situation in which you should be afraid to speak up against a pedophile. Nothing outweighs stopping a pedophile from harming children.
Exactly.
There are three things that no one should ever keep silent: murder, rape, and pedophilia. Especially pedophilia.
See?
The title to this video is not just a clever play on words. I mean it literally. As many of you already know, when I talk about a subject, I like to start at the beginning and then move forward in chronological order. And fortunately for us, in order for you to understand what I'm getting at and the angle I'm approaching this at, we need to start at the beginning anyway. And it all starts with Epstein's first documented victim. Probably not his first victim, but his first documented victim, Annie Farmer and her sister. As I recount this story, I want you to keep this question in mind. If the media, we talk about fake news and the media is manipulating us, and it's true. I mean, just go over and watch Fox News. Like, it happens, right? But let's say that a media magnet, a mega corporation, was successful in manipulating a mass audience. They're successful in manipulating them. Would that audience know that they've been manipulated? The answer is no. If you've been manipulated, then you believe them and you don't even realize
and that's what's happening to you all.
Now, most of us would never want to admit that we've been manipulated. We like to think of ourselves as smart, clever people who can discern fact from fiction.
Well,
so whenever I come across people who don't believe the media manipulates and don't believe the government lies,
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I think it's just a matter of ego. They don't want to admit to themselves
that's got to be a cover story now when you look back on it, isn't it?
Keep that in mind as
some
I
woman
recount
sucking
this
him
story.
off. Yeah,
it all starts with a Vanity Fair piece on Jeffrey Epstein. Now, for those of you who are not fans of the magazine, what is Vanity Fair? It's an American publication. It comes out monthly. They concentrate on pop culture, TV, entertainment, celebrities, fashion. Their target audience is white women around the age of 40. That's the audience they go for. Now, what does Vanity Fair and American Spy Fox have in common? A lot of my audience is white males and females around the age of 40. So I have the feeling that a lot of you already know what Vanity Fair is. But for the youngins out there, in 1992, Vanity Fair tore Kurt Cobain's world apart. They labeled him and his wife junkies who were not capable of being parents and taking care of their own child.
Writer Lynn Hirschberg stated that Cobain and his wife Courtney Love had been taking heroin and that Love was even using the drug while pregnant.
Armed with nothing more than a Vanity Fair magazine, the Los Angeles Children's Services walk into the hospital room and take Kurt Cobain's baby away from him. Do you understand the amount of power and influence that this magazine has over government facilities? Kurt Cobain, a shy, quiet, harmless person who was thrilled to be a new father, was destroyed because of a Vanity Fair piece. Now, why is it that when Vanity Fair finds out that they're writing an article about a pedophile who is hurting children, they back down? They not only back down, they keep it a secret for 13 years.
Fucking nonce protectors, mate. Vanity Fair 2002.
In 2002,
it's a big year, that one, you know.
Ward,
it's a
very successful, very attractive, very powerful, well-connected investigative journalist is summoned to her editor's office. The editor of Vanity Fair magazine in 2002 was Graydon Carter. Graydon explains to Vicky that he has been hearing whispers on the New York streets about a financial consultant and investor that is living the high life, but no one really knows anything about. In the 1980s and the 1990s, Jeffrey Epstein hit it big out of the ballpark with billionaire clients who trusted him to manage their money and investments. He made a lot of people rich. He made himself rich. But there were also whispers of insider trading and manipulating the market. Graydon wanted to get to the bottom of Jeffrey Epstein's story. He wanted to investigate him, figure out who was this person who made it a point to stay out of the public's eye and to remain private, who was so shy, yet so rich and famous, and knew all the right people. Graydon likened him to that of the great Mr. Gatsby. He seemed to know everybody. He was a New York socialite, well-connected, prominent figure within the world of politics, but no one really knew anything about him. So he put his top investigative journalist on the case. Vicky Ward was his smartest, most promising writer, and he tells Vicky, go interview this man, dig up as much as you can, let's write a piece about him. It was already rumored that Mr. Jeffrey Epstein was a bit of a womanizer who enjoyed the company of beautiful women. So who better for the job than Mrs. Vicky Ward? In 2002, Vicky Ward is tasked with writing an article about Jeffrey Epstein. During her investigation, she comes across a source who tells her that a woman she knows had a very bad experience with Jeffrey Epstein, and even worse, that woman's little sister also had a very unpleasant experience experience with Epstein. Vicky goes and interviews the two girls, the two sisters, Maria and Annie Farmer. Maria tells investigative journalist Vicky Ward how she came upon Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. She was a grad student at the New York Academy of Art, and it is custom when students graduate, they do an art show and try to sell their art. Maria Farmer sells 3 pieces. She enters 3 pieces of art into this show, and they sell immediately. The dean of students, Eileen Guggenheim, comes up to Maria and says, sorry that you sold that art to somebody else. You're actually going to sell it to these people. Those people were Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Eileen Guggenheim, the dean of students, forces Maria Farmer to sell her art cheaper to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell because they are huge contributors to the Academy, and they basically, because they have money and they're very charitable with it to this organization. Jeffrey Epstein tells Maria, don't worry, I'm going to make it up. This is 1995, the year that Maria graduates from the Art Academy, sells her art to Epstein. Just a couple months later, Epstein calls her. He says, I have a job for you. Jeffrey Epstein has acquired a mansion at the corner of 5th Avenue and East 71st Street in New York City. He wants her to be the art curator, to run the door. There'll be people coming in and out of the mansion. You're going to run everything. You're going to do the design. You're going to be responsible for all of the decor in my mansion. So Maria thinks, great, this is a great opportunity. I just got a job for a billionaire. Soon after Maria starts her employment with Epstein, he casually brings it into conversation as though he's a friend, as though he actually cares about her. How's your family? How many brothers and sisters do you have? Are your parents still together? How are they doing? He tries to come off as a friend. He finds out that Maria has not 1, but 2 younger sisters. One of the younger sisters, Annie Farmer, is 16 years old. She's a junior in high school, and she has a lot of ambition. She wants to go to an Ivy League college. Mr. Epstein, who's a billionaire, and billionaires do this. If you don't know what a philanthropist is, it's basically a guy with too much money that starts giving money away because he doesn't know what to do with his money, and he wants to help other people. Now, most philanthropists do it out of goodwill because they have a good heart. They want to contribute. They want to help people achieve things that they would otherwise not be able to achieve without the money. And then you got people like Epstein who use his money, pose as a philanthropist, but expect things in return. Most philanthropists do not expect anything in return. We all know what Epstein expected in return. He tells Maria, if your sister wants to get into an Ivy League college, she better do some sort of study abroad program. I'll pay for it. You're a great employee. I like you. I have tons of money. Let me pay for your little sister Annie to take a trip abroad. We move into 1996. Ghislaine Maxwell, who is just as much of a creep as Jeffrey Epstein is, if you don't know this, you're going to know this by the end of this video, talks to Maria, Annie Farmer's mother, and makes her believe that Jeffrey is not just paying for Annie to take a trip abroad, he's paying for many different students to take a trip abroad, and that all the students are coming to his ranch, his isolated ranch in Stanley, New Mexico, that he has dubbed Zorro Ranch, this isolated place in the middle of the desert. All the students are going to gather there. Ghislaine's going to be there, who's a woman, and you know, we might as well face it, we trust our children around women more than we trust our children around men, right? And that's where Ghislaine comes into his scheme. She uses her femininity to attract girls and keep their parents from becoming suspicious. When Annie arrives at the ranch, she realizes there are no other students there. She's the only one. It's just her, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein. They take her around Zorro Ranch, they show her the place, they try to impress her. Of course they work in, have you ever had a massage before? Ghislaine inappropriately massages Annie at 16 years old, pulls the sheet down to reveal her chest, rubs her chest, and the way this mansion, this ranch is designed is it's very open, so Annie can see that Epstein can see her laying naked on this massage table. But she thinks, you know, maybe rich people, maybe billionaires are quirky, maybe they don't care about nudity, maybe this is just the way they are. The next morning, Jeffrey comes in her room, crawls into her bed, tells her he wants to cuddle with her, and does so. so. After a little while, she finally gets the courage to say she needs to use the restroom. She goes to the restroom, she barricades the door. Giuffre leaves. She eventually goes on her trip. She never speaks of it. Soon after, her sister Maria is invited by Giuffre to do an artist in residency. Giuffre owns a mansion in New Albany, Ohio. Now, trust me, I've been to New Albany, Ohio. A lot of very, very rich people live in New Albany, Ohio. Leslie Wexner, owner of Victoria's Secrets, lives in New Albany, Ohio. Eminem at one point bought a home in New Albany, Ohio. A very sought-after area. Unless you're Dave Chappelle and you live on a farm in Ohio, you live in New Albany, Ohio. To speed this process up, because we all know what happens, not only does Jeffrey Epstein rape Maria Farmer while she's at his New Albany mansion, Ghislaine Maxwell rapes Maria Farmer. They do it together as a team. Ghislaine aids Giuffre in having a threesome with Maria, only Maria's not a willing partner, you understand? Maria does the same thing. After gathering the courage, she barricades herself in the bathroom and waits for Giuffre and Ghislaine to just casually leave. The next day, Epstein calls Maria, tries to play it off like she was a willing participant and says, "Oh, I had a lot of fun last night. How about you?" To which Maria said, "Well, I didn't have any fun and I didn't like that." And then he proceeds to try to pay her off. Maria quits working for Epstein. She also calls her sister, remembering that her sister had went to the ranch in New Mexico with Ghislaine, and it turned out her sister said, yes, some things happened to me as well. This guy not only had the nerve to do what he did to her little sister, but then turned around and raped the older sister with Ghislaine Maxwell. That's how bold this guy is. Narcissistic this guy is. He doesn't give a shit about anybody's feelings but his own. He also stole pictures of Maria's 12-year-old sister she had taken of her partially nude because she was working on paintings about puberty and private moments. And understand that these were not sexually suggestive photographs. They were about a little girl discovering that her body is changing. It was art. It did not